Everything, huh?
Everything.
Yes. I should get rid of this. Here's the multi-tool. Man, I'm gonna need the multi-tool. Can I at least take a razor knife?
Only if you can put it in your prison wallet.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So this is our spring head that we will be drinking our water out of, since we have no water filters or purifiers of any kind, no metal containers to boil it. So we're just going to drink the water straight out of this source that comes fresh and filtered out of the ground. And Maggie approves.
She does.
She approves.
I'm going to develop that slightly more. So we're
going to dig it out a bit.
Yep.
Probably a good idea. All right, guys, so we're starting our 48-hour challenge. 48 hours starting, what time is it?
2:26.
2:26 on Friday. So 2:26 on Sunday will be 48 hours later, and that's when we can leave the woods. No tools, no tarps, no shelters, no nothing. We've got to make sure we find everything from natural resources. We could, yeah, I guess technically we could beg, borrow, and steal from around the area and find trash and whatnot and make things work that way, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use completely natural resources and see if we can make ends meet. Because if we can do it with absolutely nothing except the clothes on our back, how much easier would it be if we had just a pocket knife in our pocket and a lighter? So that's kind of the idea for the weekend for the 48-hour challenge. And right now, Jason here is digging out our water source, making it just a little bit deeper. There's a crawdad. There's our meat. Meat! That's good.
That might potentially be useful. We might want to hold on to that one.
So we're going to be using stone and wood tools, trying to catch some critters like that to eat. Our priority number one is going to be shelter because it stopped raining just recently and it's going to rain again. It's supposed to be in the mid or low 60s tonight. So we need to make some sort of shelter at least to keep the rain off of us. And then after that, we're going to try for a fire. Hopefully we can get one tonight, but more realistically tomorrow, or hopefully by the time the challenge is over. I think that's going to be the toughest. Water we've already secured. So food, fire, water, and shelter. We're going to see what we can do and see if we can accomplish those goals. And we're going to make our lean-to on this already existing kind of ridge pole. This is a little bit flatter ground. Appears to be a little bit drier on the ground as well. Here comes the rain. Oh, so you're telling me you don't want a spoon even a little?
Even a little, no.
That is.
I'm out. Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that, but you're really sucking the fun out of this trip. You know what I mean? I was all about asking. I couldn't wait to ask you if you want to be the big spoon or little spoon. I was hoping to be the big spoon, but hey, you know, I wasn't going to be picky. But then you go and break my heart. Yep. Where you been? Have you been exploring? How come you're not helping? How come you're not helping? Maggie. So, two fellers that are reasonably inclined. Hour and a half to build a sort of makeshift lean-to shelter here that's sort of closed in on the ends. And relatively dark laying down inside. Oh man, you hear that? Let's test it out.
Let's see it.
We're in. We need to get some bedding in here for sure.
Yeah.
Maggie, you're gonna snuggle with me.
Sure.
I need to get my
Stuff is out there.
my jacket. Not that it's gonna hurt it, but. So we were allowed clothing. I'm getting soaked. We were allowed clothing, and I brought this wool coat. because it just made sense. And I've got my camera gear, and that's pretty much all I brought is this coat and my camera gear. Oh yeah, we're trying out the shelter now. It is pouring down rain.
Hey, did you clean off the lid of this before you you got done drinking?
I did.
Okay.
Some heel all. Leaves and flowers are edible. Not very good, but edible. No, that's bear poop.
It's fairly fresh.
Yeah.
Still on it.
Looks like corn and apples.
We're down there.
So we've got some nice smelling sassafras here. Also edible, but kind of, yeah, kind of slimy when you chew on the leaves. Kind of leaves it like it gets your saliva kind of thick. Not very pleasant. Smells good though. Smells kind of like root beer. Some wild mint. Very strong smelling. Supposed to be good insect repellent as well. It's the word on the street anyway. Skeeters are out a little bit, so I'll take it. Nice one. Yeah, that's not too shabby.
Good chunk to it.
Yeah, it's dry on the inside. If we could get this section right here, this middle section, broken off, if we could break it there and there, and then split it down. We'll just take that with us, I guess. Split that down.
That's good.
And we'll have to we'll probably need to make several sets, hearths and spindles, because chances of any single set working is almost nothing. So if we're gonna go for a bow drill, we're gonna need some sort of cordage, and this is a tulip poplar, and this is about the best thing for natural cordage around here that I know of. So maybe I could pull some long strands off of this young branch that fell off or broke off somehow. Probably something else falling on top of it. See if we can pull some long strips off of there. Kind of like that. And then the inner bark is what we would use for our actual cordage. So we'll see what we can get off of this thing here.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's really nice. So we can get a really long fibers off of that and maybe make some cordage. So we'll see. Need to make a tool. Just like a sharp rock of some sort.
Something to carry with us.
Yeah. Because for something like this, just even a little bitty anything, like a tiny little sharp rock would be.
You mean like the one we had at camp?
Yeah, yeah, like the one you found right there.
It doesn't smell minty.
Bunch of wood sorrel.
Yeah, ooh, yummy. I need some of that. Just some more. Give me a browsing of it.
So, shelter, check. Water, check. Food, at least for plant food, check. We'll work on some meat. fire is going to be the quest. So here's a wild cherry tree, and we've got a few ripe cherries there. I'll grab that one. So we found some really awesome tinder material. This is tulip poplar bark that's been dry in here up off the ground, which is fantastic. So we're just gonna strip that off of there, and you can see the big long fibers that are kind of hair-like, which is ideal for making a tinder bundle. So I'll strip that off, and we'll also keep this. This is pretty dry piece of tulip poplar, which is also good for a friction fire. So we'll probably hang on to this piece of wood right here. Basically take all of this with us. So I got to make sure that I'm all the way through the outer bark and the inner bark. If I'm not through the inner bark and I try to start peeling it off there, it's just going to tear. So I want to get this off in all one big piece so I can make something out of it. So I got to get all the way down, and you can see right here that I'm down to the bark, or to the actual wood of the tree, and I'm through the inner bark. So I've got to make sure I get that all the way down. And my makeshift hand axe here, this little point, is working pretty good. So we've got an apple tree here that was probably planted, I don't know, half a century ago, give or take. And it's got nice ripe apples on it that we are enjoying at the moment. And you can see we're not the only ones in the neighborhood that have been enjoying it. Look at those big great big bear claw marks on this apple tree. It's climbed all the way up there, shook the tree, got some apples off. So as I'm stuffing my face full of apples, I discovered a blackberry stalk that may work well for a spindle for a hand drill if we can't get a bow drill going. Oh, that's the good stuff right there. Put it on the shelf. All right, so it's getting pretty dark. I don't know what time it is, maybe pushing 8, 7:30?
Nope, 6:01.
Wow, it's just so cloudy and foresty that it's really dark in here. We're in the middle of a cloud, it looks like right now. It's starting to fog up. It actually looks brighter on the camera. Check that out. Oh, wow. Looks a lot brighter on the camera than it does in real life. But Maggie is testing out the bedding. We've used hemlock boughs to make it a little bit spongier, a little bit cushier, get us up off the wet ground a little bit. These boughs are a little damp, but they're not as wet as the ground. And then we've got our shelter. As you can see, it's got some leaky holes. We should probably try to patch those up while we still got a little bit of daylight. So the rain's coming down pretty good, and I'm working on some cordage here. I'm stripping the outer bark off of this tulip poplar and trying to get to the long inner strands here. And that's what we're gonna make our cordage out of, hopefully to aid in our fire production, which is definitely not happening this evening because it's pouring down the rain and everything we have is soaking wet. But I have high hopes for tomorrow that the sun might come out. And Jason is continuing labor on the Chateau de Jason.